In the following movie, we'll take a look at some tips and tricks for brick meshing. We'll begin by taking a look at the best practice workflow for creating a brick mesh on two bodies that share a face. We'll create our FEM, and we'll start off by creating mesh mating conditions. It's important to do that step first, so that will make the mesh definition easier to understand. So we'll mesh the smaller body first, and then we'll hide that mesh and its associated body, and then create our second brick mesh. Now, because we have multiple source faces, or multiple faces on one side and a single one on the other, the only way that we can create a brick mesh on that in one shot is by selecting the multiple faces to be on the source selection side. They can't be on the target. So let's go ahead and undo and try this now, not with a best practice workflow, but with one where we've created our brick meshes first and then putting our mesh mating condition on second. But this first time through, we're careful to select the top face of the larger one as our source face for our brick mesh, so that when we put our MMCs on, our mesh mating conditions, and hit the update, that brick mesh will update because it's able to adapt. And here, let's turn off the other body so we can just look at that one brick mesh. Here you can see instead of one source face, you can see it's updated to select both of them. Now let's go ahead and undo this and go through it a third time, this time creating our brick meshes first before our mesh mating conditions. But this time we'll select the bottom of the large body as our source face. Then we'll put on our mesh mating conditions, and we'll see that when we hit the mesh update that the mesh will not be able to update. And that's because the source face selection for multiple faces has to be first. It can't be the target. And in this case, it's tried to update, but it's put multiple target faces, which is not legal. If you have multiple faces going to a single face, it has to be, the multiple faces have to be on the source selection side, and the target has to be the single face. So it's fairly easy to correct it. And that concludes the demonstration.